All right, what's up, everybody? So, happy that everybody is able to get on this call. This call is going to be an update call for all of our investors who have already invested in some of the projects that we have going on. This is going to be a high level overview of two of the deals that we currently have going on. And the reason why they're going to be more of a high level overview is because one of the properties we are still working on getting the contract signed on. We have our offer submitted. But because we have the offer submitted, we haven't got it approved yet. We don't want to give out the address to that property. So, to protect ourselves, we won't be giving out the address of the property on this call. But I'm going to break down one, what happened with the deal that we already had going. If for those of you who have been following this channel, you know that we were working on a Section 8. We were working on a student housing property here at Austin P University in Clarksville, Tennessee. This was going to be a duplex that we were planning to retrofit to turn into student housing living. And what would happen is that both sides of the property would get individual living spaces for the students. Well, after doing some additional research on that property, what was determined is that the property has some structural damage that we could not see before we got a contractor to go underneath the house. And that's part of the due diligence process. So that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to make this call, is because I wanted to help you guys to understand how this process works and why sometimes deals don't go as planned. Okay. So with the original duplex, we're gonna just call it 415. With 415, that property was overpriced for what we needed to do with it. Because we wanted to turn that property into student housing, it was going to require a significant floor plan change. Originally, we were all set for to do that, but once we determined that we had to replace the roof and that we needed to do some structural repairs, it became evident that the property was going to be better fitted as a tear down and rebuild. Um, if you go back and watch some of the previous videos talking about that property, you'll know that that property was already slated. It was already zoned appropriately to put a triplex on. So after doing some additional due diligence, we realized that it was more beneficial to tear down what's there and build a brand new triplex than to take a 1920s build, retrofit that 1920s build, and then try to get maximum profits out of it. We much rather tear it down and have a 2025 build property. So that's what we're currently working on, is we're restructuring that deal. So originally we brought that deal as a private money lending opportunity to our investors. But because that deal is going to be now more of a tear down and build, it needs to be a more long-term play. So originally we had a 6 month to a year plan on getting that property flipped and getting it rented out, and then using a DSCR, which is debt service collateral ratio, to pull our money back out, pay the investors back off. So since that property is going to require a little bit more lead time, we're going to restructure that deal and create what's called an equity partnership. And with an equity partnership, what that means is that the investors that decide to invest in the new deal will be able to uh, reap the benefits of both being private money lenders, but you're going to be able to get a portion of the rent. So let's say we do a 50-50 deal for easy numbers. You're going to get 50% of the rents, 50% of the appreciation, which means say you're in this deal for 3 years before you get paid back out. At the end of the 3 years, you will be entitled to 50% of the appreciation. That's the change in value of the property from the time that we buy it and fix it up and get it rented out. So it's really beneficial as an equity play. And the great thing about it is that these are going to be three brand new builds, a triplex, three brand new properties. We're going to try to maximize the footprint on these properties. So what I mean by that is currently the property that was there was two. It was a duplex, but both sides was a 2-1. We were going to turn it into a 2-2 and have the students share the kitchen area. So instead, what we'll end up doing is we'll switch the process and we'll try to go with a 3-3, either a 2-2 or a 3-3 in each unit. So that's going to give us between 6 and 9 doors in on this property, which greatly raises the income potential on this property. Remember, originally for student housing, we were planning to rent the rooms out at around $1,000 a month, and that's not including any extra added amenities, whether that be internet, electricity, anything else that we decided to pay for on that property. Um, so the great thing for that is that we're by tearing down and building the triplex, we're gonna raise the profits on that property. Originally, the ARV for that property was somewhere around $350,000. By going and building a new build property, we're looking at closer to a $600,000 evaluation on that property once we get it built up and get it rented out. So that's going to also be a great push. Now, the hold up on that property is that we do have to renegotiate the price with the seller. That was our number one thing, is because we're tearing the property down. Now we're buying a tear down. And when you're buying a tear down, I want you guys to keep this in mind, right? When you're buying a tear down, you're buying land minus the amount that it's going to cost you to tear it down. Normally, you're looking at somewhere between 5 to 10 grand, maybe more depending on the area. If you're in a more rural area where it's hard to get um, work done, where it's harder to get contractors or things like that, it could cost you more to get a house torn down. So for us, we look at land cost minus the tear down. That is the safest way to make sure that you're gonna buy that property at a good price. Now, we don't want to overbuy, especially considering the fact that we're not just using our funds. We are part of the investors of the on this project. However, because we want to protect our investors, we have to be very, very diligent on the properties that we take down. So with this property, um, one of the biggest reasons why we took a step back and found a new property to replace this one with is because of the the fact that we don't want to take on unnecessary risks. We don't want to take on unnecessary risks with our investors' money, and we don't want to take on unnecessary risks with our money either. So we have to make sure that we're purchasing at the right price. So again, high level overview. So 415, the like I said, the original plan was to convert that duplex into student housing. Still, that is still the plan, is either to convert it into student housing or to build student housing, because the property is literally walking distance to the school. Again, if you haven't seen the videos that I did about that property where we showed you the floor plan, we showed you how to draw out the floor plan, definitely go check it out because there's a lot of information in there. But you'll see that that property is so close to the university that I could throw a rock from the front yard and hit the university building. So we're still looking to use that property as a student housing development. Just with the tear down, is going to take a little bit longer. Now, what does that mean for our investors? So if you're one of the people who's watching this and you're one of our investors on this project, if you're one of the people who has invested financially in this project, what that means for you is that we've switched our focus to a different project. Anybody who's seen or read the book Who Moved My Cheese, that is exactly what's going on here. We've moved the cheese. The cheese has not disappeared, but we've moved it. And it was important for us that we find another project that was gonna, one, have the income potential, the earning potential to pay back the investors in the agreed upon time. Two, it needed to be something simple. Remember that we started this project. Our our time to pay back our investors is in January, so we want to make sure that any deals that we find to replace that deal, that we are able to complete that deal before the January deadline and still get it rented out and get the DSCR done in enough time to pay back our investors. So with that being said, what we look for is, we look for properties that did not require a lot of work, right? So the property that we're looking at right now, again, I'm not going to give you the address on this property because our 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 offer is supposed to get looked at today and accepted today. So until we get the offer accepted, I'm not going to put the address out on YouTube. But if you're one of my investors, make sure that you go and check out the LLC link, the LLC page. There's a LLC page on the investing platform. Make sure you go and check that out, because on that platform you're going to see the underwriting spreadsheet. I'm going to add that on there today. You're going to see pictures and videos of the property as we get them in, and you're going to get to see the full address of the property and the full rundown on the finances on that property. But we won't be putting that on the YouTube channel. We won't be putting that on the TikTok channel until we get the contract back. And I advise you to do that too. Anybody out there that's doing real estate deals, if you don't have your contract already signed and fully executed, do not put your information out there, because you don't want someone going behind your back and spoiling or messing up your deal. We've had that happen to us, and it's no fun. But it happens, so don't allow it to be the thing that discourages you, that pushes you away from real estate investing. But don't be naive, if you will, and give all your information out. So just make sure that you're protecting yourself, same way we're doing. So this new deal, I'm just going to call it Branch Street. And on this Branch Street property, is a 5-bed 2-bath property. Is in Jackson, Mississippi, and this property has really, really high earning potential, because it has so many different exit strategies. One of the exit strategies being Section 8 rentals. The Jackson, Mississippi market has a high demand for Section 8 rentals, and it has a very high demand for properties that are over the 3-bedroom mark. So we're looking at this property because it's a 5-bedroom property. And the great thing is that in the city of Jackson, the fair market rents in that area is about $1,900. That's the average fair market rent. But this property is located in a zip code that will allow us to get $2,087 in rent. That's 110% of the fair market value. That is how much we could potentially get on this property by putting it on as a Section 8 rental. So our process is that we will put the property out based off of the fair market rents. We don't care if you're a Section 8 renter. We don't care if you are a traditional renter. We don't care if you are a student rental. We don't care who the renter is necessarily when it comes down to what program they use to pay the rent. We care about their ability to pay back the rent, their ability to pay the rent, and we care about their past history. And that is something that for us, we use the property manager for that. So we are using property management, and property management will vet them based off of the criteria that we tell them. So we're not going to get too deep into the weeds about the rental process, but just keep in mind that the projected rent for this property is as high as $2,000. Now, why is that great? The great thing about that is that we are purchasing this property for $45,000, and we're looking to put in about $40,000 in repairs. So do the math real quick. That's about $85,000, and we're going to be able to collect $2,000 worth of rent. Okay, we're doing what I told you earlier. We're doing what's called a debt service collateral ratio to pull the money out, a DSCR. And typically you're looking for a DSCR, which is around a 1, which is the 1% rule, if you really think about it. So for every $100,000 that you pay for a property, you want to be able to charge $1,000 in rent. So if you pay $100,000 for the property, ideally it'd be nice to get $1,000 back for rent. We are going to be paying all in under $100,000, and then being able to collect 2 times the 1% rule. So that makes this a really great property. Okay, it makes it a really great investment, and really kind of makes it a home run deal. The property does need the property that we're looking at right now does need decent amount of repair. Again, $40,000, new roof, new floors, new kitchen. We're gonna make this property a very nice property. And the great another great thing about it is that we're looking at other properties on the neighborhood. So if we can buy more properties down the neighborhood, that's gonna make it even better for us. But that is probably the best thing about this property, right? Now, 5 bedrooms, a 5 bedroom property is pretty hard to come by, no matter where you're located at. Okay, I don't know. We currently live in the Clarksville, Tennessee area, which is about an hour north of Nashville, Tennessee, and it's hard to find a property that size. To put it into perspective, I talked to someone the other day who's renting a 3-bedroom 2-bath, and they're paying $1,900 in rent for a 3-bed 2-bath. We're getting a 5-bed 2-bath property that has 2,000 square foot too. Let me point that out. 2,000 square foot means that there's a lot of potential to add some value to this property. Now, we're not going to add any additional bedrooms. We have no need for a 6 bedroom because Section 8 only pays for 5. But we could add in an additional bathroom, make it more comfortable for the people who are going to be living in the property. That's going to increase our chances of getting a renter in there at the price that we're asking for, because we're adding amenities that will make their life in that property better. I don't know about any of you guys, but if you have kids, nobody wants to share the bathroom with the kids. And I know some of you women out there, you might not want to share the bathroom with your husband, or husband, you might not want to share the bathroom with your wife. So, by finding different ways that we can add value to this property is really going to help us boost up how much we're able to get for this property. And keep in mind that this is just rents. This is not talking about any additional type of value adds, utilities, um, lawn service, pest control, Wi-Fi. There are so many different other amenities that you can add in that could, take your rent up as well. And we have not necessarily talked about whether or not we will be adding any additional amenities. And for now, we do not plan on doing that. But those are things that we also have that, again, if we get a Section 8 renter, Section 8 will pay for these things. Section 8 pays for heating, cooking. I'm looking at their website right now. They pay for air conditioning. They'll pay for putting for water heaters. They pay for water, sewer, trash collection. They pay for additional amount of money for putting a range and a microwave in, a refrigerator. You can collect the extra $4, $4 a month for putting a refrigerator in a room in a house, which is something that you would think would just come naturally, but it doesn't. I've had properties where the utilities or the appliances were not included, so you get paid more money for putting appliances in these properties. So that is just a great way to add value. So the Section 8 play is a great thing for the Jackson area. We love areas where Section 8 is in high demand, and what that really signifies is that there's not enough landlords in the area that are providing properties that that are suitable for the needs of the renter. A lot of people, you have 2 or 3 kids, you really need a lot of space, especially if you're talking about boys and girls, mixed, or if you have kids from varying age ranges, you may end up needing additional space. So we're really happy to essentially solve a problem. We're real estate problem solvers. Like we tell you guys all the time, you're real estate problem solvers. Our job is to solve problems for people. If you're one of our investors, our job is to get you paid, right? The only thing that our investors care about is that we solve that problem for them and that we help them grow their money. They give us their money to invest in properties, and then the number one thing that they want from us is that make sure that they get paid. And that is our number one goal, is to make sure that our investors are getting paid. And then our number 2 goal is to make sure that we're finding high quality product, high quality properties that we can add back to the inventory, that we can create a a a safe haven, a safe space for families to grow. With a 5 bedroom property, we are definitely looking at a family. We already know that we're gonna be looking at getting a family into this property, and with that, we already know the inherent risk that comes with having a family in the property. But the great thing about having families is that you're less likely to allow the property to go into to decline. You're less likely to stop paying your bills if it's you and your family versus the smaller family. So the 5 bedroom property, in our opinion, really adds a level of a little bit of a level of security, because 5 bedrooms, you got 3 kids, 4 kids, you're not trying to have to find a new place. If we do get a Section 8 renter into this property, the Section 8 program is set up in a way to where if you lose your voucher, you may not get another voucher. Some of these people have been on the wait list to get this voucher for years. So when we vet the people that we put into our properties, our main goal is to make sure that we are providing a service. Again, we're here to help, but we want to make sure that you're going to be the type of person who is going to respect the property, who's going to want to stay in this property, who's going to want to protect your voucher so that you can stay on the program. So that's one of the things that we're looking for when we're looking at renters to put into these properties. So let's talk about looking ahead, right? So we talked about the 415 property. That's the property here that we're still working on. That's going to be something that we're looking to turn into an equity partnership where we're going to give out cash flow and appreciation to our investors. That's going to be a great deal. So you guys want to make sure that you're staying tuned for that one, because when it comes back around, this is where true wealth gets built. Okay, true wealth in real estate, you can make wealth. You can create wealth by being a private money lender. No doubt, right? Because you can get a 10%, 12%, 20% return on your money within 6 to 12 months. You can make money doing that. However, if you really want to make money in real estate, the true money comes from the equity. True money comes from the appreciation. Like they say, you don't make money when you sell, you make the money when you buy. That is the reason why we are so critical of the properties that we are looking at, and the reason why we are not afraid to walk away from a property. Believe it or not, we are not afraid to walk away from a property. Okay, we believe in the motto of tell me yes, tell me no, tell me now, I gotta go. I didn't make that up, okay? I heard that from Myron Golden, but it is so profound because I don't want to have to waste time trying to finagle somebody out of their property because they don't want to drop the price. I want to make sure that we make deals that are going to be win-win deals when we're doing our investing. However, the number one thing and most important thing when you're buying real estate is to make sure that you are making money when you buy the property. That means that you have to buy the property at the right price to ensure yourself the returns that you want. Otherwise, you're just gambling. And you might as well just put your money on a Russian roulette table and just roll the dice. We're not doing that. That is not real estate investing, okay? That is just taking risks. We are real estate investors. That means that we did the due diligence. I want you guys to understand something, right? For our investors, okay? For those of you who are not part of the investing crew on this project, please listen as well, because this is going to be information that you can use when you start doing your deals, or when you come back and you want to invest. You can understand how our process works. But we got an inspection done. Okay, we had a full inspection done. They gave us a full appraisal report. We had multiple contractors go out. We this is how we approach contracting. We had a contractor go out and give us an overall contractor's bid. That is the overall bid for him to do everything on the property: electrical, foundation, reframing, all of that, pulling permits, everything. Then we went out and we got individual quotes from individual craftsmen. So we went to the electrician. We got three quotes from electricians. We went to the roofer. We got quotes from the roofer. We got quotes from plumbers. We got individual quotes. And what we did is we matched all those numbers up to make sure that everybody was giving us the right numbers. And if somebody gave us a number that was off, we went to the other person and said, hey, we got this person said they could do it for this, so that we can figure out what the right numbers were. And the reason why we were confident in our decision to walk away from this property is because not one contractor told us that it was better off as a tear down. Three different contractors told us that although the property could be rehabbed, it could be fixed up, it could be made back livable for the amount of money that we were going to put into it per square foot. The property, we could have built a new properties, right? So once we got to thinking about that, it's like, okay, well, this is multiple contractors who's telling us this. We have to respect their what is their expertise. We have to respect the fact that they know what they're talking about. So I'm not going to argue with them on whether or not something has to get replaced. I got three different quotes. Three different people told me that. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's get this price back down, because at $120,000, we cannot purchase this property, tear it down, build and still make it as profitable as we need it to be. So that is what we do with all our properties. So let's talk about looking ahead, right? We have a lot of upcoming properties, upcoming projects that we are working on, and for us, that's the reason why we rely so heavily on outsourcing. We have in the Jackson area, we already have realtors that are doing the boots on the ground portion of the work for us. That's taking pictures, that's getting access to the properties, that's getting our contractors into the properties. They're also gonna serve as a intermediary between us and the contractor, being able to go out and take update pictures and videos to let us know how the work is progressing. Okay. we're going to hire property management so that we don't have to manage the properties. And what this does is this frees us up to look at other investment opportunities so that we can make sure that we're bringing a full range of properties to our investors. We're working on several other properties in the Jackson area, in the Clarksville area, as well as some properties that we're looking at in St. Louis and Ohio, which we can talk about those later. If anybody's in the St. Louis or Ohio area and you're interested in learning more about the deals we have in that area, definitely drop me a comment and I can make you a video about that. But since we're talking about Clarksville and Jackson on this call, in Jackson, we are working on a student housing project in Jackson. This property is also in walking distance to the university, Jackson State University. For those of you who are not familiar, for those of you who are not familiar with Jackson in general, Jackson is the state capital of Mississippi. Okay, Mississippi gets a bad rep because it does have one of the lowest gross domestic product of any of the states in the U.S. in the continental U.S. But they still have a lot of programs that to help people out. There are still a lot of jobs in the area, a lot of high earning individuals in the area. So there's still opportunity for in the real estate market. People still always need somewhere to live, so there's always going to be opportunity. Now, Jackson State University, the great thing about that is that again, like the properties that we're looking at near the university, they're all in walking distance. And for students, we think that that is going to be very important. And we're going to follow the same concept as 415. So the same ideal that we have for 415, taking the project, the property, turning it into individual living spaces. And when I say individual living spaces, what I mean is that each room will have its own bathroom, so the students will not have to share anything except for the kitchen. This gives them more freedom, and it also provides another level of security. Okay, we have a college student ourselves, a freshman in college, and one of the biggest things that her friends complain about is privacy and feeling safe. You know, there's nothing worse than your young lady, you know, living on campus and having a roommate that feels the need to have their company over all the time, placing your student in harm's way potentially, or at least in an awkward or uncomfortable position. By giving them their own separate living space, their own separate entry into the property, we get rid of that we damper or mitigate some of that risk, right? Now they're still going to share the kitchen, but let's be real, you know, 18 to 21-year-olds, most of them aren't cooking full course meals, you know. So we're going to give them a full kitchen, but the bulk of what we're the bulk of what we're looking to craft is in the room. We want to make sure that their rooms are comfortable, and that they don't have to need anything, you know. And by placing them close to the university, they're able to still use the university amenities. They're still able to go on campus and use the gym and all of these other amenities, uh, because they're in walking distance, and we really enjoy that. We're looking at some multifamily deals. Okay, multifamily meaning that we're looking at deals between 4 and 12 units. On all of the multifamily deals that we're going to be bringing down, they're going to 9 times out of 10 be equity partnerships. Equity partnerships means that as an investor, you can look to get cash flow in the form of a split of the monthly rent, either paid out quarterly or generally paid out quarterly, but depending on the project, it may be paid out monthly. And appreciation, you're going to get part to cash in on part of that appreciation. So again, we buy a 4 unit apartment complex for, you know, let's say $100,000, and when we get ready to sell it in 3 years, it's worth $200,000. If you are a 50-50 investor on that, you are entitled to $50,000 of that income that came from that property. So the great thing about the equity partnership is that you're going to not just get rental income. You're not going to just get income in the form of interest from private money lending, but you're going to get some of the appreciation. You're going to get some of the equity, and it just really makes for a really great deal. And is truly, in my opinion, this is the true way to get into real estate investing passively, because you're not going to manage anything. We're going to handle all that. We're going to handle all the management. We're going to handle all of the day to day grind on the property, making sure that it gets fixed up, make sure it gets repaired, make sure that there's money set aside to take care of uh-ohs. We'll take care of all of that. And all you have to do as an investor is collect a paycheck and start your real estate journey. The thing for us is that we believe in building wealth through real estate investing, okay? But we also believe that we've been blessed to be a blessing to others. So if we can create wealth while also solving problems for the average individual, then it's a win-win for us. And by doing that and also being able to help our investors to free themselves from their whatever it is that you want to be free from. I always tell people, like, free yourself from your 9 to 5. And I know that not everybody wants to free themselves from the 9 to 5. So if that's not you, then I understand. But real estate investing is the number one way that you can free yourself from your 9 to 5. Okay. It's 4 o'clock in the morning right now. And I know that, or it's 5 o'clock almost in the morning. I know that a lot of people are going to be waking up right now, getting ready to punch the clock to head into a job. Okay. Um, it's hard to live up to the full potential of what you were created for, working a 9 to 5. Believe it or not, people leave this earth all the time, and the thing that gets left behind about them, the one thing that people remember, is that they were whatever their job title was. And I beg to differ for you. Like, yeah, when I'm gone, people are going to say that I was a real estate investor, but my kids will be able to say that I was here, I was present, because I'm not having to be stuck at a 9 to 5. I'm able to have our 16-year-old goes to school from home. We're able to have our 18-year-old who's in college still live at home and still be able to interact and be a part of her development as she grows into a young woman. So those are things that are very important to Vani and I know that it's very important for you guys too. And as we know that many of our investors have a desire to escape the rat race. If you read the Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad, listen, it's time to escape the rat race. Nobody deserves to be on the hamster wheel of life for their entire life and then expiring. You didn't do anything greater. So these deals that we're bringing to the table, these are meant to be the catalyst to propel you, to jumpstart you, to get you started in real estate investing. And if you're a person who's not at a point to be able to invest in one of these deals, that's perfectly fine. Still, come and watch these videos. Get yourself educated, because listen, when the time comes, when the finances come, when your breakthrough happens, you want to be prepared for it. Okay, we're sharing this information so that you can be prepared for it. If you go back and watch videos, listen, we're very transparent. With the exception of not giving you guys addresses today, we are very transparent in how we do things. Okay, and we want to make sure that we are still doing that for all our investors. Um, so let's go back to the deal, right, for the investors, right? So, like we said, Brent Street. For those of you who want to know more about the property, go and check out the LLC page on the fractional platform, and make sure that you bookmark it. You can actually bookmark that page so that it can show up when you first get onto the platform, so that you don't have to go without getting the updates. We're going to be posting pictures on that page. We're going to post the videos on that page. We're going to post the underwriting worksheet so that you can get a look at that and see what the numbers look like. The numbers look really good on this property. Again, like $2,000 for rent, and we're going to be under 100,000 all in. It's a sweet deal, and right now we're looking at an ARV of around 150,000. So really going to be a great deal when it comes time to DSCR this thing, and we're really excited about it. And I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys are excited about it too. I hope that this video answers questions for you guys, and any questions that this video does not answer for you, definitely drop them in the comments. Listen, drop them in the comments. You can DM us. For those of you who are a part of our investor group, you have our phone number. Okay, go back and watch the Zoom call update that we did yesterday with Kyle. You have our phone numbers, you have our email addresses, you have all of our platforms. If you have a question, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Do understand though, we are busy. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that one. We are busy. I can't say that you're gonna get a reply from us right away when you reach out to us. But we do think that if you send us a text message, if you give us a phone call and you don't reach us, leave us a voicemail. Make sure that it's detailed. If you are like us, I like text messages. So send me a text message, because when you send me a text message, I can go back and reply to that text message later on after hours when I have time to sit down and reply to them, and we can answer all your questions. But um, the worst question to have is the question that you don't ask, because the question doesn't get answered, and then you're left with a blank. And we don't want to have anybody left with a blank. We want everybody to get their questions answered, and we want all of our investors to be happy. We want all of our mentees to be happy. Anybody that's looking to learn how to real estate invest, we want to answer your questions. We want to make sure that you guys are ready and prepared to move forward in your investing criteria. If you are a person who's not one of our investors and you're interested in becoming a real estate investor, maybe you want to do some private money lending. Maybe you want to do some passive investing. You want to become an equity partner in a deal. Reach out to us so we can get you on the platform, so we can get you hooked up, so that you can also join in on some of these deals. Listen, we have a 6-unit deal that we're working on in Ohio. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about those deals, but listen, this is such a great deal. The deal right now is $80,000 purchase price, $13,000 per unit, $13,000 per unit. And the property does need some work, but once we get that property up and running, we're talking about another um, 15 to $2,300 in rent, depending on what strategy we use to get the renter into it. Again, versus whether we're talking about traditional rent, student housing rent, or a subsidy like Section 8 or veteran homes, or there's so many different opportunities out there. Okay, and we can talk about that. I can talk about that all day. All the different ways that you can boost your income. There's sober living homes. If you find a property that's close to transit, you can rent them out to sober living homes, and they rent out by the room. There's so many different ways to increase the income on properties. And we're so excited about it. Like, I don't know if you guys can feel my energy through this camera, but I'm excited about this. Okay, I'm excited because we're gonna make money while helping people. That is the best way to make money. So again, for my investors, if you have questions, let me know, reach out. For all of those people out there who are not investors, but you're here for education, I want you to understand something, right? We are we started off as real estate wholesalers. Vonnie and I started off wholesaling when we first got into real estate. We were Rich Dad Poor Dad. We read that book. We went to a seminar, and we were hooked. Okay, took us 8 months to get our first wholesale deal done. Then it took us another, I think, 4 months to get that next deal done. We tried all of the strategies. We've done direct mail, cold calling, door knocking, postcards. We did billboards. We've done bandit signs. We've done all of the different marketing things that you can think of. SEO. We still love SEO, hands down. Evergreen marketing. You can't beat SEO. You can't beat that online, having an online presence. But what I'm saying is this: like, we are not novice. Okay, this is our full time. We are 100% full time real estate investors. We do not work a regular 9 to 5. Bunny used to have a 9 to 5. I had a 9 to 5. I haven't worked a 9 to 5 since 2018. Bunny hasn't worked a 9 to 5 since 2021, I think it was, when she left her job. And we have no desire to go back and work for anybody in the 9 to 5 space. But real estate investing is where is that. Okay, so if you're a person and you don't have money yet, get into wholesaling. Become a property finder, deal finder, get your capital up so you can roll that money into a project that you can get to investing on. Our investors were able to get into this property with as little as $5,000. If you're a person with $5,000, you can start putting your money to work today. Start and get into a deal, get into an investment. There are tons of investments out there, trust me, that you can get into, and you can start generating some income that can then generate you more income. Okay, scared money don't make money. And I know you've heard that. And what that means is that the money that is sitting in your bank account, not doing anything, not working for you, is not making you any money. The money that you have sitting in your savings account that's making you anything less then 5 to 10% that you could be making in real estate is not doing you a service. Okay. I don't. We have one bank account. I think they pay us 4% interest. And don't get me wrong, 4% interest is good. I enjoy getting that interest payment every month. However, they make you jump through hoops to get your interest money, right? The bank makes you jump through hoops to get your interest money. Think about this. In order for you to get X Y amount of interest, you got to have this much money coming in every month. You got to have this much money going out every month. Those are loops that you got to jump through. I got to spend money to make money. I mean, I gotta spend my savings to make money in my savings, even though the bank is using my savings. Listen, that's all wrong. Take Figure out what your expendable income is, figure out what it is that you want to do in real estate investing, and then I wholeheartedly believe that you should go for it. Okay. I am not saying put yourself in any unnecessary risk, but that is the reason why you have to find platforms like this platform. You have to find platforms like the investing platforms that the rest of our investors are using, and use them to your advantage. Use them to build yourself up. Okay. We are in the generational wealth building arena. You are I tell people this all the time. I'm not building wealth for myself. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not building the wealth for myself. I'm not trying to buy houses so that I can keep them for my entire life, because my life is finite. But here's what happens. My children's may get to eat off of this. You don't know if you're not the next John D. Rockefeller. Okay. Listen, the wealthy has been wealthy for generations. It's your turn to become the wealthy. It is Everybody watching this. Is your turn to become a part of the wealthy arena of this world. Okay, and it is possible. Do not allow anybody that make you think that it is not possible for you to do this. It is possible, and it is possible with deals just like this. One deal at a time, one investment at a time. And like I said, you can get started with way less money than you think. Okay, you can actually get started looking at deals with as little as $100. And believe it or not, if you were the type of person who, let's say you have 5 people who wanted to get in on the deal, yeah, you're gonna diminish your returns, but 5 people put pitch in, and you can go in together and invest in the deal. There's so many different ways. I had an investing group. It was 10 of us. We're down to 6 people now. 4 people did get out of our investment group due to outside circumstances for themselves. They got paid out, got bought out, and the rest of us are still investing. There's 6 of us investing. We pool our money together, and we are now using that money to buy real estate. We have some of that money tied up into some of our deals, and it's just great because I'm not just building wealth for myself. I'm building wealth for some of my friends. These are all people that I knew in the Marine Corps. These are some of my Marine Corps friends that could have their money in the TSP and all these other saving platforms, but there's not a lot of places that you're going to make 5, 10, 20% interest on your money. There's not a lot of places where you're going to get the type of appreciation that we're looking at. Okay, on this property, on the branch property that I mentioned to you guys, we're expecting at a 4%, at just a 4% appreciation. In the first year, we're looking at a $45,000 increase on this property value. Okay, you listen, that $45,000. Imagine that you were a person who was 50-50 partner on this deal. You were able to cash in on half of that $45,000, plus getting your original investment back. That's the power of being an investor in real estate, is that there's little money to make, and then there's big money to make. It all depends on how much money you got. But guess what? The more you invest your little money, the more your little money becomes medium money, and then your medium money becomes big money. Before you know it, you're able to play in the big leagues. Before you know it, you're able to buy that apartment complex. You're able to buy that trailer, that mobile home park. You're able to buy larger projects. You're able to become a partner on larger projects. Maybe you're not buying them directly yourself. Maybe you just want to be a private investor. Maybe you just want to be a silent investor and collect a paycheck. But guess what? It's a domino effect. It's a snowball effect. If you're a Dave Ramsey fan, you start with the little bit of money that you have, and you let it snowball, and it just continues to increase. So guess what? This month you only had $100. Next month you got $110. The next month you got $120, and it just keeps on going, and it keeps on snowballing. And before you know it, your money is growing astronomically. Okay, and that's what that is the true goal. That is what we are going to get to. And if you stick with us, we're going to get there together. Okay, that's where we're going. And if you're going in the same direction that we're going, then go ahead and hop a ride, hitchhike a ride, and let's get there together. Because we're not getting any younger. I made this post the other day. I told people, I said, I'm not old, but I'm getting older. You're not old, but you're getting older. Believe it or not, you ain't getting no younger. You're not getting any more days back on the calendar. Okay. But because of that, it's time to take a risk. It's time to go for it. It's time to go all in for your dreams. You know, it's just that time. It's that time. And I don't want to rant this, but I will leave on this, right? The key to getting started is getting started. Whether that be you want to be a real estate wholesaler, you want to be a fix and flipper, you want to be a buy and hold landlord, you want to be a private money lender, if you want to be a equity partner investor, whatever it is that you want to do in the real estate arena, the time is now. The time to start is now. I don't care if you're 18, I don't care if you're 85. The time to start now. The time to start is now. And I think I'm gonna leave it on that. Okay, I'm not gonna drag this out because I'm already at 46 minutes. I could talk on and on and on. I can go into some other deals that we're working on. If you guys want to know about those deals, definitely drop it in the comments so that I can make another video breaking those deals down. I planned on doing a screen share on here, but I just found out that I can't screen share really on YouTube without using some other software, so I didn't do that. So check make sure that you're checking back because I'm gonna do some green screening today and throw some additional details up on the back on the screen behind me, and we'll do some walkthroughs, some virtual walkthroughs to get you guys an idea of what we're looking at when we're looking at properties. You know, one of the things that we found out is that a lot of people are afraid to take on a property based off of how much work the property needs, but as long as you're buying at the right price and as long as you have the right lending team behind you, don't let that scare you because you can find lending for almost any type of project as long as the property makes sense. As long as the numbers make sense, you can find the money. If you can't find the money, reach out to us because we can find the money for you. Trust and believe that there is money out there to get your deals done. There are deals out there to put your money to work. If your money is not being put to work for you, if you don't have any money to put to work, there are ways for you to get money to put to work. Okay, your money is your number two employee outside of yourself. You are your number one employee, and you owe it to yourself to be the best employee that you could be. But then your number two employee is your money, and if your money is not making you money, then it is a detriment to you. That means that every single day that you swipe your card, your bank account has less and less and less in it, and you can only swipe so many times before it hits zero and it starts going into the negative. So if your money is not making you money, if it is not helping you out, it is not an asset, it is a liability because again, every time you swipe the card, it's less and less. Before you know it, you don't have anymore. You got to do something else to get more money. You got to go and trade your time, your most valuable asset. You got to go sell it to the potential highest bidder, which sometimes is the lowest bidder. You got to go sell your time to someone to get your money to get the money um that you need to survive. And that's not what life is. That's not what you were put here for. There's a bigger purpose for you. There's something that you're passionate about that is not what you are doing. And believe it or not, real estate investing, whether passively or actively, is one of the surefire ways to help you get to it. Because once you get your foot in the door and you start making some income, you can reallocate your time to other things. You can reallocate your money to other things. We met a gentleman the other day at a solar a seminar that we went to, and he has so much money that the deals that he does now, he gives all the money away. That's how much money he has through real estate investing. So much money that now he gives away the money. He gives away the money. He's not even working for himself anymore. He's working for other people. Okay. You could be that person. I'm not saying you got to give the money away, but whatever it is that your heart desires, whatever it is that God has put on your heart to do, whoever it is that you're supposed to be, you can do it. Listen, I know that you can do it. Okay. I spent 10 years in the Marine Corps. I got out, I became a government contractor. I've made a lot of money in my lifetime. Okay. Believe it or not, I've made millions of dollars in my lifetime. And there was a point in 2018 when I got laid off that I could not tell you where any of that money went. I could not tell you what I spent it on. I didn't have it. And when I hit zero, it was like, oh, I need to figure something out. That's how we started real estate investing. Because here I was with this six-figure job and I was spending all that money. I wasn't putting that money to work. That money wasn't working for me. But in my mind, because I got this six-figure job, I was set. I was comfortable. I could get comfortable. I could lounge a little bit. I could take vacations, and I was eating expensive dinners, and I was smoking some very good cigars and smoking and sipping on some very good cognac. That's what I was doing with my money. And fast forward to 2018, and I was sitting there like, what in the world? Like, okay, my savings ran out in 5 months. The savings that I thought was big bank ran out in 5 months. And now we had to go and figure something out. We had to truly become real estate investors and stop playing about it. But you don't want to have that same story, okay? I don't want any of you guys to have to go through the same thing that I went through. I don't want you to have to worry about hitting rock bottom before you can start to climb your way back up. Don't hit rock bottom. Start climbing now so that you can get up there faster. And by all means, follow me up the ladder because I've already climbed up so many rungs. So you know that these rungs are good. If you step where I stepped, and you know that you're not gonna fall because I've already stepped there. I'm gonna tell you the problems. I'm gonna tell you where to look for. I'm gonna tell you where to avoid. I'm gonna help you to figure that out. Okay, we can help you figure that out. Um, but hey, I love teaching. I love talking to you guys. I love sharing updates with you guys, and I hope that this is informative for somebody, and I hope that it helps somebody. I only needed it to help one person. Okay, I'm fulfilled if one person takes away something valuable from this video. I feel fulfilled. Okay, and again, to my investors, to the investors who are already invested in the deals that we have going on right now, please go and get to go and check out the LLC page on the fractional platform so that you can make sure that you are staying up to date and informed on what's going on. And Bunny and I are going to be very diligent in making sure that we are keeping you guys updated and that we are sharing a lot of information with you guys. So I'm going to leave it at that. It's 5:12. I hope that you guys have a great day. If you have to go to work, do the best that you can. Do it with all of your might to the best of your abilities. But while you're at work, think about whether or not that's something that you want to do for the rest of your life, and whether or not real estate investing is something that can help you to escape the rat race. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm Ken. Bunny's upstairs sleep, and I think I'm gonna go and get me a little cat nap in before I got to get up too. Love you guys and peace.